misery loves company, so they'll focus all on the bad. Some fans, because it's a coping mechanism, they'll just keep screaming in isolation, you can't win them all, and you can't. But that is a game you could have won, and that's a game we've dropped 2 points from winning position. So if I'm harsh and you want to be a Champions League team and get there consistently, once you take the lead, you've got to walk through it. And we've been getting away with it on a couple of occasions. Leeds away, the best example. You don't always. The most upsetting thing for me is ultimately we've gone to St. Mary's / Old Trafford and we ain't got any performances as good as our season's been. You have to give credit to Southampton, in my opinion. I felt they were tigerish. I think the roughhouse tactics worked to try and rattle us. They did get away with a couple, you know, Linkau, Coletta. They all did well. Armstrong did well. Ward-Prowse second half. Everyone, you know, they got 4 points in 2 games going into this. They've got 5 in 3, so they're starting to put some form together. And I did like their 4-4-2 / mini little variations of it. Shout out to Bazanu. And again, considering they had injuries, a number of key players missing, mixed form, they gave us a game and, you know, it's something to build on. They had us in the second half, if I'm completely honest with you. And as I said, they did quite well in the build-up. And when you look at the statistics, the end of the game, whatever you say, we had 12 shots, they had 10, both had 3 on targets, 60-40 in our favour for possession, for 541 passes to their 358. They had 9 corners, we had 4. Bulk of them probably came in the first half. So they made it a very even game and things like that in that regard. So there were several disappointing things, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, if you draw for the tactics board, as I said, the one good thing is, again, I've aired a lot of people, but Partey, Tomiyasu, and I believe Ramsdale have done quite well, focusing on the decisive actions. As you saw, you know, Saka and Ben White have played a nice little 1-2, very much a goal from the training ground. And obviously, Ben White's pull it on the plate, Xhaka's pull it top bin, simple as that. You know, Linkau and that didn't follow the runner. Martinelli wouldn't have been far as well. Jesus was in the cut as well. Don't know why I haven't got him there, but good exercise from the training ground, and that's about the only real positive. If these are both Southampton people, now they lined up with a 4-4-2 and it worked well, but I think in reality, you know, it was more like this, you know, Armstrong was coming in from wide areas and getting inside and things like that. Adam Armstrong was chasing lost causes. Aribo kind of doing the same thing, a bit inverted. Ward-Prowse was the slightly more advanced midfielder than Diallo. And they had compact wingers that did provide width when they could. So as I said, on the right is more traditional 4-4-2, and it still was, but there was slight variations between the midfields, between, you know, Aribo linking up with Armstrong and actually Armstrong. So I think Hasenhutl's tactics were quite good, if I'm honest with you. Tactically, naturally, I'm going to be disappointed with the goal we conceded because, again, I'm skipping out some bits, but it's gone from back to front with them. The decisive moments, really and truly, between Armstrong, you know, everyone could have done better. Xhaka and Partey are not following the midfield runners. Again, it's not to scale, but again, like our goal, they've just followed. Armstrong's just made a run, you know. They've cut us open in about 5-6 passes on the counter-attack from their goalie, which, again, on the transition, especially away from home, has kind of harmed us and been a bit of an Achilles heel. That was there against Liverpool. That was definitely there against Leicester. That was there at Old Trafford. That was there at our place in the build-up to the penalty that Spurs got. You know, the transition defensively, even though we've improved defensively, we need to be a bit better. And in the second half, you could see tired legs, but you have to keep going. They've done quite well. Obviously, the ball's put in for Armstrong. Armstrong's not been picked up, you know. And then you know what happens, people. It's put beyond Aaron Ramsdale's net via Armstrong. They're off to the sunset. They're laughing, really and truly. So there were several things that we could have done better, if I'm completely honest with you. But it is what it is in that regards. Fundamentally, we didn't do what we needed to do to get the 3 points. Sometimes you get 3 points where you don't deserve it. Sometimes you win when you don't, and sometimes you get what's just about deserved. And on reflection, you know, a draw, I don't think either side could have wanted more. Maybe if Southampton probably respecting us a bit too much first 20 minutes. Maybe if they started better, it could have been a different result. Clearly, for me, the 15 minutes before halftime and ultimately the second half, and considering the fact of they scored 25 minutes before the end of the game, as you know, the last half an hour in games is very crucial. We have problems, in my opinion, in the second half. That's where we concede our goals. That's when the old habits start to crack in. I know it's difficult when it's fitness levels and we're a young team and things like that, but it comes with the territory because there's been times we've been getting away with it. So ultimately, we can't complain, you know, considering we've been a bit flat in the last, you know, let's say 4 games, all comps. Southampton, definitely second half. Leeds, definitely after scoring. The Glyn and PSV, and we've not lost. There is something to build upon. But as I said, we've got to take the good and make it greater. And as I said, don't, as much as I like what we're doing, don't let this form and what Arteta is doing, what the players are doing, let it give you confidence, let it give you motivation, but don't let it overestimate where this club needs to go and where we are at this moment in time. There's over 20 games left. As you can see, physically we're being tested. Rotation is going to need to happen. You know, we need to finish this year strong, let alone the end of the month. Let's go on to Nottingham Forest and put things right. You know, you look at, for me, while we've done the good things now, it could all be undone really if we don't continue what we've been doing, because we've got Chelsea to come, we've got West Ham, we've got Brighton, we've got a couple of difficult fixtures from now to early January, North London Derby. You know, we've done well, you know, but we need to keep going, sort of thing. So it is what it is in that regards, people. Southampton, Arsenal thought. Sorry, folks, just making a timestamp. You know the thing. But yeah, I've been airing you lot, people. Let's scroll all the way back, man. Go all the way to the start, man. Good afternoon. Right back at you, Graham, man. Please smash the like button, YouTube ones, Twitch ones, one love. It might only have been 1 point yesterday, but still a better weekend than Spurs. In fact, we played a game less than them this week and still picked up more points. I hear you, but everyone's got to play 38 games, man. And I'm more speaking to the wider footballing fans, like it. You know, when people say, "Oh, we're still top of the league," that's great. We're still top, but bro, see, I'm acting like there's 2 games left of the campaign. I'm not even talking about winning the league. Obviously, the table is gonna fluctuate. You know, Chelsea and United are behind Newcastle, I believe. They're probably gonna climb above them. Where it's gonna fluctuate. So I'm more focused on what we're doing on the pitch. If you do the right things, if you pattern what you need to pattern, then typically things take care of themselves. And we've got a good base, we've got a good foundation. We've ironed out a lot of rough patches, but we've still got a long way to go. And I know, when things are going wrong, people like to focus on the negative. When things are going well, people don't like to focus on the little eeny, meeny, miny bits, but the devil's in the details. And I'm not really surprised because, again, the goal we conceded at Southampton and the kind of thought process has been there all season. The 3 goals against United, the penalty against Spurs. For me, the glaring one was Leicester at home, where it shouldn't really be. We did concede first against Villa or Fulham unnecessarily, if you're completely honest. And again, there's plenty of other examples. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. We shouldn't have got away with it against Leeds. We did. We should have won the game in the first half. We could have maybe lost the Southampton game in the second half, but we live to fight another day. But sometimes you can't run away from things. Like with Spurs, they might go on a run of form, but end of the day, it's about putting results on the board, and they've been doing that. But that's been papering over the cracks. So it doesn't surprise me that Newcastle, who I don't want to play them home or away at this moment, put a result against them, because it's been there. You can't get penalties in the last 15 minutes. As I said, the ref is smoking the finest of crack, and we should have had a pen. Even if we got a pen, we scored. We ran away from with St. Mary's at 2-1. I'll be saying the same things. Let's control the variables that we can control. And that was, we could have scored more. There's been times this season where we've won the game and we're waffling about dodgy refereeing decisions, but because we've scored and doing what we need to do, it's calm. And again, we're still showing our naiveties, because if we're looking at a team like City, typically they get 1, they get 2, they get 3, they get 4, it's like being in a boxing match. Kill your opponent, like until he's not moving. There's no point being in control of the fight, doing nice jabs, giving him uppercuts. You're clearly winning the beef, but it's going down to points. Put that guy on the floor. And that's what we needed to do. And we didn't. So we need to just do better in it, really, and try to end them up strong and keep it moving, really. So yeah, man, smash the like button, like Clement says. Can we get to 100 likes? Don't forget, people, hella content. I'm pretty sure if you're subscribed to me, you would have seen, the watch-alongs ready for tomorrow. Dortmund against Man City. Obviously, before that, we're watching Salzburg against Chelsea. I've dropped the links / dropping the links. That'll be on Twitch and YouTube. PSV Arsenal on Thursday. One love to you lot. You have hit the link, set your reminders, and turn your notifications on already. Crazy. One love to you lot tuned in. Twitch, has it updated my all right, yeah, because it's been messing about. One love to Gherkin as well for resubscribing. And again, American Gooners gifted out subs and that on Twitch. You're missing out. That's why I said we needed 2 strikers. One has a different profile to Jesus. Jesus is a calm sign and allow the agendas, but he does need to do better. And that's the reality of it. Jesus needs to bag, bro. Like he's Brazilian, he's wavy. He does the business, but he should have scored. But the problem is City don't rely on one single man to score goals. Obviously, Haaland's taking the mantelpiece and things like that. But there's other dons that are chipping in. And we've been doing that. And arguably, we've been getting away with that. We need to keep scoring more goals. And I'm being harsh, but the opportunities that are being presented to teams like Jesus and Odegaard against Southampton and someone next week, you've got to take them chances. But we do need different options. And Giroud, a guy like Giroud would be perfect, I think, in games, especially when we're under the cosh, there's many ways of defending or surviving somewhat. I don't think we've got that eight. Obviously, we've got players when the sun's shining at the Emirates, teams are sitting off us, even when teams are pressing us. They can hold the ball, they can do wavy things, but away from home, we ain't got a number 8 that's just gonna say, you know, everything's running through me. I'm gonna play these 5-yard passes. I'm gonna switch play when required. We're gonna suffocate the opposition and kind of take the sting out of the game to go with making tactical fouls, probably milking fouls, taking forever with throw-ins and things like that. We ain't got another tug like Partey that we can play with him or instead of him if he's tired that can get in there and do a thing. And I think, like we saw against Newcastle and Spurs last year, and probably against Southampton, we could have won regardless. I think we need someone that's a bit of a target man. I know Jesus tries and he does a thing, but someone that you can just lump it into their chest, like you saw how France basically won the World Cup. Giroud, and don't get it twisted. Giroud ain't Chris Wood, respectfully to Newcastle and Chris Wood. He's got tech, he can play ball, but his game, Giroud isn't going to turn and try and dribble past a million players. He's a guy that if you're one of them 5'8", 6-foot techie man, you pass it to him, you know you're going to play 1-2s. And I think we need someone that can play off that. Eddie Nketiah is a bit too similar in that regards. We need someone that we can, especially away from home against Leeds as well, that we can thump it into their chest and get us further up the field, win us fouls and things like that. Eddie and Jesus are very similar. And to be honest with you, you know, we already know our bench is meaty, and like respectfully, you know, I'm still a fan of Fabio Vieira, but he showed why he's not starting. You know, he had a good cameo in the defeat to United, where everyone was waxing lyrical about him. The same energy, you know, it's a disaster class. You know, he didn't get to grips with the intensity or the physicality at St. Mary's. Eddie Nketiah left wing baffled me a bit. Not really, because he's been doing that. I did think you would see Jesus maybe go out there, or maybe Jesus and then Nketiah switch there a bit more. It's a bit meaty. So when things aren't quite going right, we haven't got a bench really, and you can't run away from this. We're playing a dangerous game and we're doing okay, but we saw how the season was derailed last season with not signing certain players. We need to get individuals in January, definitely where midfield's concerned. Striker, winger, if you're not putting down the bread, it's difficult to find certain people, but there's no excuse not to sign the centre mid. Since Arteta's walked in this door, Edu as well, we haven't consistently patterned the midfield, you know, and I know Xhaka can turn into Pirlo as much as he wants week in, week out. We need someone that can play instead of him if he's not there, and we need someone that can do long-term what Xhaka does. He's 30, contracted until 2024. Rumours of a new deal. We'll have to see. Partey, injury record, even though he's been fit, 30 odd now. El Nene odd as well. We've got longevity in the defensive and final thirds. What about the middle third of the pitch? And again, as durable as Xhaka is, bro, man's not Superman, innit? Like since he signed for Arsenal, he plays almost the most games. He's gonna play every game when fit, unless something happens. He's got a World Cup, and injuries can happen at any moment. God forbid he could be going downstairs to make his little kids toast and pull his hamstring. So we need, you know, prevention's better than cure. As I always say, if winter is coming, I'd rather us have too much jackets on, have the central heating too high, and then we might be able to turn the central heating down or take off jackets. We're out there in a hoodie right now, and might be able to get away with it if we keep bobbing and weaving. It's got, you know, if it's the weather like yesterday, it's kind of peak really and truly. So there's a lot we need to keep doing. I still believe in Jesus, but no single player is going to come here and be a miracle worker. Only the players that are not in the team when we lose or drop points are the miracle workers. Jesus weren't going to come here and pull this club from pillar to post. I do agree. The criticisms you could say, yo, you know what, you're just moving like Lacazette. Really, you're doing the Lacazette thing, but to a better standard. But you are scoring goals. I still stand by him. I don't understand why some fans have just turned on him. For Jesus, the one record is, can you score goals? And we're going to have to see, really, you know. Hopefully you can maintain it. Obviously, you're not going to probably score more goals than definitely Harry Kane or definitely Haaland. But you need to be, when we flick on in May, top goal scorers, we need to see that. But I don't feel as a team we create as much chances as we could, even though that's improved. And pardon me, we haven't got a single goal scorer in this team. You know, Jesus is more praised. Now we're getting to see what Jesus is about as an individual. It's more so at City and Brazil, what he does for the collective. Saka, Martinelli, hopefully Martinelli gets double figures. Saka and Smith Rowe did last season. We needed Smith Rowe super sub settings. They're learning to score goals, be goal scorers. They're not goal scorers. For me, goal scorers are people that have been doing this thing for years. Saka, Smith Rowe, as I just said, they've got one double figure season on their CV. Martinelli started well. He will probably get over the line, but you get it. So you do sign up for certain things, and people need to remember where we're at. But there's still a lot that we could have done better in it, people. Obviously, we're watching Europa League on Thursday. Make sure you're there for that. But that weren't actually the tab I was meant to wheel up. I wanted to go through some of this. Now, I'm not one to cry about decisions in it because I'm more focused on what Arsenal could do in it. Like, but it is baffling, isn't it? It is baffling when you see these images in it. Like how he said Saka dived there, smoking the finest of crack. Obviously, I don't know how man got away with this. You know, committed performance for the cause. He lost his marker. How has he got away with this? If Xhaka did that, it's jail time, really. You know, we still got to remember we've got a good foundation. You know, we've only dropped 4 points in all this competition so far, this campaign. Sorry, I don't think it's gonna last like that. But yeah, United had our number. Southampton did a thing. Disappointing for me because we spoke about this in our season preview. I really wanted to go to the Anfields, to the Old Traffords, to the St. Mary's and put in performances, really. And there was some positives from the United game. Fundamentally lost, though. You know, in May, we're not going to be there and say, oh, you lost to United. But we was better in the defeat to United than in this victory. The cold, harshest thing about reality is the devil's in the details. But all that matters is 38 games played, how much win losses you're drawing. If you play well for 38 games but don't get enough points, you might not be in the division or your manager might not have a job. So, yeah, man, it's a good platform. It could be better. It could be worse. And in all comps, 15 games, we've got 1 loss, 1 draw, 13 wins. We've scored 32, conceded too many goals, 12 goals conceded across 15 games. That's not sustainable. 7 clean sheets. We are top of the Champions League and the Europa League. Doesn't really matter at this moment in time, but it tells you there's a foundation once again. We'll get into all of that in a sec, people. When you look at our last 2 games by half, in the first half, we've scored 2 goals. In the second half, we've offered nothing. So our expected goals, as you can see, drops from 1.01 to 148. Total shots in the second half stands at 6. First half, there's 15. Shots on target in the first half has been 7. Across the last 2 games, has been 0. Touches in the opposition's box, first half, 26. Second half, 13. Successful thing in life is to keep your standards when you're tired. You know, football is one thing. Obviously, if you're tired, your concentration levels drop. You might take longer to get in position, your recovery positions. If you use a working life example, how many of you, myself included, when we're doing tasks and you're awake, you've had proper sleep and things like that, you can do tasks to your best of ability. If you now burn yourself out and you're falling asleep at your desk, you're going to make mistakes in whatever you're trying to do in it. Possession 1 in the final third, there isn't too much in that, people. But successful passes, it drops from 103 in the first half to 70. Keep your standards. Keep your standards. And even games like against Liverpool and Spurs, well, not even Spurs, I'm gassing it. Well, Liverpool is actually good in the second half, but we're kind of topsy-turvy. There used to be a time we'd be slow in the first half. Second half, we're on crud. It seems like first half, we're the best in the world. You know, better than a prime Barca. Second half, we start moving like Accrington Stanley and that. We faced the exact amount of shots on goal, to be fair with you. Shots faced, better yet. Shots on target, we've had more. We've conceded more in the second half, 5-2. Touches in Arsenal's box. In the first half, only 13. In the second half, again, 27. You're inviting, you know, you're giving confidence. That's why if you were playing so well, Southampton didn't feel they could get anything out of the game, they probably wouldn't. Football's a psychological game, people. Opposition passes in the ending final third jumps up significantly. It goes from 43 in the first half. This is all across the 2 games against Southampton and Leeds, people, to 119. So that might tell you something, really. In the same way, we know Arsenal start well. So if you're an opposition manager, you need to do even better in the first half. Second half, if you keep, like Southampton did, you keep in the game and all of them things, second half, you might get something from it. So these are things we need to be wary of. Apparently, Jesus said, I spoke with him, the referee, straight afterwards, and he said, if you go down before, maybe I can give you a penalty. But I think I was fair. I tried to hold on and keep standing and tried to finish the action. But in the end, he grabbed me and it was impossible. Jesus, you tried to have integrity. You know, there's no honor among thieves in it, really. You know, we need to start going to ground. Dark arts. It's one thing you could learn from Lacazette, because anytime VAR bust us, Lacazette weren't too far from the crime scene, really and truly. So go down. I hear you. You're trying to be a winner, stay on your feet, but go down. And we need to start surrounding refs a bit better. You can't beat them, join them. Simple as that. Because this will happen, you know, it happened in the Chelsea game, really. And again, we're going to see that again and again. I care about it because obviously we could have got 3 points if the penalty, assuming the penalty is given and tucked in, and the inconsistencies at Stamford Bridge versus Chelsea United and yesterday. But we're going to see that there's going to be another game where this happens and it's given or it's not given. And I don't know if it evens out, but, you know, we've been given some bookie decisions. We've been on the receiving end of some bookie decisions. Yeah, we could have got 3 points, but if we did what we needed to do without this, this would have just remained a talking point, really and truly. And former refs, all Keith Hackett is coming out. Former refs are all adding their little pieces. Some are saying it's not a foul, then it's not. Like I said, this just continues the entertainment package because we're sitting here and speaking about it. He's got hands all over him, Kaleta San. Him, Selesu, Linkau all did well as well. That's a penny kick for me. The photograph says it all. You cannot, as a defender, grab your arms around like that. Then we say, why has that not been given? Come on, referees, this is grappling. And I, obviously, watching the game at the time without commentary of things, don't know why VAR didn't interact and things. But if we score our goals, we don't waffle about this. Simple as that. Again, Arsenal haven't kept back-to-back clean sheets in the Prem since February. These are alarming things. All 4 goals. See how I mentioned 4-5 at the start of the season, at the start of this stream. All 4 goals Arsenal have conceded away from home in the Premier League this season have been on counter-attacks. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And we've unfortunately have won just 2 of our last 7 visits to St. Mary's, people. So yeah, man, 27 games without a draw comes to an end. Disappointing to drop points, but still got 1 more than in this fixture last season, which is true. And I mean, Southampton fans, every United fans, everyone can celebrate however they need to, man. So yeah, people, it is what it is. We need to do a lot better. Xhaka now has more goals than yellow cards in the season for Arsenal. The first time in his career. Arteta rebuilding players, man. Shout Arsenal's ladies because they're on a great form as well. So yeah, it is what it is. And again, disappointing because Southampton have lost 7 of their last 11 games prior at St. Mary's, people. So yeah, people, it is what it is. What it is. We need to do a lot more than that. Saliba and Gabriel Jesus did avoid getting suspended, so that might be another positive if you're honest with yourselves, people. Smash the like button. Hopefully they don't do that against Nottingham Forest and make things harder than it needs to be. On the topic of Nottingham Forest, we're more than a match for them. Their captain's already sending out the Bossy language, and they've got Mr. Dean Henderson, who, if you are to have a future at United, if you can help take points off those qualifying for the Champions League or trying to, is what it is. Big up Nottingham Forest, who duppied Liverpool as well. Yates has said, where is it? We'd like it to come quicker. We'll be the underdogs again at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, but inside the dressing room, we feel more than a match for them. Fair enough, people. Fair enough. Fair enough. The main thing was matching Liverpool's intensity. They had injuries, so we thought, why not? So again, they're gonna come with that sort of stuff there. So it's a big week. There's no time to feel sorry for ourselves. Cannot go back in time. Have to hug that. We just have to hug. We just have to hug that now. We drop points. Have to hug that.